Thanks very much. That was a really interesting discussion around risk, and we were talking about different things. I think at the end we were talking about something that is a significant risk, which is government and whimsy. But we were doing a project in Africa, and we're talking a little bit about operational risk, and we had done really great planning, and we were helping to build something, a big plant. And one of the big issues was the amount of dust that the haul trucks were putting on the laundry as they drove by. And of course that, we hadn't really, or the mining company had never really considered operational risk and community risk at that level, which was dust and trucks running over chickens. So just sort of interesting there. And of course that delayed construction, which was significant. Let's talk about changes required in consulting from a consultant's point of view. So in the 1970s, a number of people started measuring how effective change management was. And it was about 70% failure rate. Interestingly, a number of large large consulting companies, McKinsey, Bain, things like that, are talking about the 70% failure rate in consulting. And they're sort of blaming the client, which is sort of an odd thing for a consultant to do, to say, well, listen, you hired us, but you failed to implement correctly. I don't know whether that's a view. So one of the things, and one of the common questions that we get is, well, how come results didn't sustain? Well, the two sort of questions go together. First of all, it's how you design and plan your transformation or your change program. Proudfoot is a little bit different. So we're a 70-year-old company, we're global, and we measure results. So we can see, and we do it on a weekly basis, and it's on our website, and we're happy to report that we have 110% results delivered. So, and we generally have about a 400% return on investment. That's across all of the projects, and we've been tracking these for years. You can look at a 10-year average, you can look at an annual average, and things like that. So this is sort of puts a lie to the fact that 70% of improvement projects need to fail. They don't. They can be successful. They can be hugely successful. So what is the difference between a failure and a success? And we think it's around engagement. It's around how you engage with people. And there's basically 5 important things that you have to do if you want to be successful when you implement a change program. First of all, you have to be involved. We talk about who has to be involved. The consultant's obviously involved. You have to get management involved. You have to get the front line involved. You have to have employees involved. And in order to do that, you have to design your program or your solution in a way to get them to be involved, to want to be involved. There's an element that's called discretionary effort. So discretionary effort is the difference between what you believe you are mandated to do, you are required to give this amount of effort, and then there's the extra effort that you decide as a volunteer that you're going to input into this effort. It's your discretionary effort. Now, that discretionary effort, interestingly, when you measure it, is greater than the mandated effort by a considerable amount. So, create opportunity and give people an opportunity to be involved, and they generally will get involved. And generally, that helps you, well, not generally, specifically, that helps you to sustain. Sustaining an improvement is about broadening the participation and creating understanding. So, contrary to popular belief, we found that it was less about resistance to change and more about creating understanding. We did a survey last year. We do these on a periodic basis about what do people feel about transformation changing. And we're right now talking about digital. We're talking about technology, but this is also just about how my job is changing, how I am participating in changing. So this is right from the mundane all the way to the huge. So the first thing we're talking about is, at an individual basis, people want to understand, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this now? What does this mean for me? Help me to understand how I can fit in and participate, because the majority of people want to participate. Actually, when we did the study, we found that most people said, we're doing this change, but nobody ever asked me, nobody came to me and said, how I can help. And I would really like to help. So, humanize the transformation. Optimize the process as you're going through it. Digitalization comes afterwards if you're going to digitalize. Don't do it digitalize and then optimize and then humanize. No, that's backwards. So there's a sequence that enables people to come with you, and part of it is creating understanding and communication. And nothing engages people like opportunity. So give people the opportunity to learn. This is almost like managing risk. Go and talk to the people. Give them pencils. Okay. Selfishly, consultants that understand this, first of all, this is hugely fun. It's really interesting. People get on board. It's a lot. It's exciting. And quite frankly, the client, at the end of the day, has a great time, felt it was terrific, learned some new stuff, and has great results. So, businesses are managed, and people are led. That's the difference. We're talking about leadership. And we're giving people skills to be able to do that. That's about it. Thanks very much.